Good evening. This is the June 8th, 2026 meeting of the Plainfield Select Board. All 5 Select Board members are here, and I see on Zoom we're joined by the Town Clerk, Jamie Hammock, and Plainfield, Vermont Water Wastewater. I'm not sure who that is. Which, is it a commissioner?
No, sorry, Peter. This is Alicia. It's me. For some reason, it logged me in there. I'm just hanging out.
Okay. All right. I thought that we might have a commissioner because we do have an item.
Yeah, no, nothing formal.
All righty. All right, so 6/8/2026, and we're joined by Tammy Farnham. Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes.
And those would be?
There's going to be something through EWP, watershed protection, that needs a signature.
That's not an item. There was an authorization for Peter to sign, so.
Okay, that was framed to me as a change to the agenda, no? If you say no,
Well, let's add it to the agenda. It's an authorization for you.
What I already signed.
No, that was the 2 things. You signed that contract that was a revision of the contract. This is an authorization to sign, to be able to submit the reimbursements. So that's what this is. So
Okay.
it's an action, yeah.
Okay, so
let's
it
put on.
doesn't, so it does need an action.
It's an
Okay.
action. If you want to include it under the grants report, we could do it there.
okay.
Okay.
And then at the end of the meeting, an executive session with Dan Caddy, our constable, VSA 313A1E.
Okay.
And then I received a report about dumping at the rec field parking lot. So a moment to check in about that.
Okay.
I have one addition
Go ahead.
that we can do within the grants administrator report. I had a conversation with Bob Atchison about needing an authorization for the federal solar incentive program that would be connected to the MERP grant. So just want to include that.
We'll do that also as part of the grant administrator?
If we could.
Okay, so the EWP and that
Solar incentive program.
part of the grants report, where you guys want to do the rec field dumping?
Do we have anybody to help us with that conversation, Rose, or is just what you heard?
Maybe they're not, I don't know if they'll arrive. I don't know if they're coming, so, but I can speak to it. I mean, I'm fine with it being later in the meeting, kind of in the deeper select board section.
Okay, we'll do it. Do it after the stipends and before the committees?
Okay.
How about there? Okay. All right. Is that it for changes to the agenda? All right. Announcements. I will start to announce that the Eagle has landed, and that as of about 2:15 this afternoon, we have a new treasurer finance director for the town of Plainfield.
Hooray.
Her name is Tammy Martell.
Another Tammy.
And she came over today. We had a little luncheon with meet and greet with the staff, with Jamie and Carol, and had some light refreshments, and that went very well. And then after the snacks, Tammy and I went and reviewed the employment agreement, and she had some clarifying questions to ask, but no changes to what was proposed, and so our terms were accepted. You can clap.
When's your first day?
Today was her first day.
Nice.
So we got right to work. She has a key to the front door. Jamie started doing the onboarding packet, the filling out of, showing of social security cards and driver's licenses and all that kind of stuff. Cynthia has set up a time to have a first orientation to the NEMRIC system and whatnot on Wednesday. Tammy will also be coming over tomorrow morning to meet with Jamie and start setting up the office. We did look at the other upstairs office, and she prefers the smaller one.
Which is the first one or the second one you looked at?
We looked at the Historical Society Annex room off the meeting room. And she liked the smaller room, quite frankly.
The one with the window?
Yeah, with the little window,
Okay.
and that's missing the little window.
Okay.
She has her own desk. She has one of those desks that goes up and down that she
You can
likes.
see it.
So she's gonna bring that over. And then, so we're gonna work on getting the rest of the equipment in there. There is a phone, we looked at computers and other office equipment and stuff like that. And Jamie and Tammy went off and spoke for a while, and Carol and Tammy went off and spoke for a while, and, you know, we have begun.
Congratulations to all of us.
Hey, hooray, 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 hooray. Hooray, hooray. That's Jesse Cooper flywheel.
That's why I let him in.
Okay.
Okay. All righty. I guess the only other announcement I have is that we had a nice cleanup of the dump of trash off of Taylor Farm Road in the conservation area there. It took us, I think we were in and out in 45 minutes. So we had plenty of contractor bags and 2 pickup trucks and many hands, so that made light work. And
And we don't know who the evildoer is.
we do not know who the evildoer is. This was like 90% clothes, an air conditioner, some other electronic thing like a printer, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah, looked like somebody cleaned out an apartment.
Thanks to everyone who did that, the pickup. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Okay, public comment.
I just have some questions.
Yep, go ahead, Tammy.
Maybe hand you a microphone.
Microphone or microphone?
Where is the, oh, here it
That
is.
mic and there's
Sorry.
that mic.
I should have been using that myself.
That's okay. So this is based on last week's, or not last meeting. So we talked about a penalty. What amount is the penalty for the payroll? You had talked about a penalty and you writing a letter to the IRS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hold the
Let me-
mic, use the mic.
Oops, oh, sorry, sorry. I don't like the mic.
No.
So my question, I guess, so what was that amount? And then was that paid? I know we wrote the letter, but did we pay it to avoid any future? Okay, maybe I misunderstood what was said then.
No, and I may miss a couple of the details here. There was a letter that came from the IRS that talked about potential penalties if, and I forget the amount, I want to say it was tens of thousands,
I thought it was like 50 grand.
something like that, okay.
Something like that.
Because the reports, the quarterly reports, the 941s, and the annual tax reports to the IRS and the Social Security Administration were not properly done, dating back to 2023. So we're talking multiple years and multiple responsible people here. I probably spent 3.5 hours on hold with the IRS over several days. Finally used an IRS contact that I have from my seasonal job to find out who we might talk to, because like the IRS is very shorthanded, and we tried multiple ways. So we ended up on the advice of this person and consulting with Cynthia here, who was also working to update the information that was sent. And just to summarize, reports were either some reports were filed, some reports were not filed. The numbers that were on there didn't match the numbers, the dollars that were sent, et cetera. And so we wrote and basically outlined the whole situation and said, what are we supposed to do? We can't get in touch with you. You know, do we drive down to Brattleboro to the IRS office there? That's the only place nearby that there's that possibility. So we sent a letter, certified mail. We received receipt of that. And I would say a week, maybe 10 days later, we got a letter that said, we're getting a refund of like $23,000.
That was for a different year, it sounded like, right?
It was for one of the 3 years. Okay? And other than that, I have no other communication.
So your
So
question was,
I guess-
had we paid a fine? We had not
No.
paid a fine.
So, okay, so,
No.
so have we been assessed a penalty?
No.
And we haven't, okay, so it was just a warning?
It was a warning,
And
and
saying that we owed 50,000?
potentially,
That we
Okay.
would be penalized 50,000, potentially, but we've argued it, so.
So do you know, I guess I was concerned with, I mean, typically you would pay the penalty and then try to.
we were
it's
advised
just
not to do
avoid-
that.
Okay, okay. I was just trying to, it was very brief and I got like little bits and pieces
Yeah,
because.
no,
we
and-
identified.
and
So
what
I was
had been-
Trying to clarify if the town had, if we paid something to avoid additional fees.
No. And at the same time, almost simultaneously, Cynthia had completed the upload of the corrected figures for those years. And we had spent a lot of time in the office pulling out 2023 and 2024 and whatnot. And
So it's not that we didn't, so that's a true penalty and not the taxes that didn't get paid?
Well, the taxes were paid, the paperwork was filed
Paperwork.
improperly.
So it's just paperwork that.
yeah, and at least for one, at least for that 1 year, we apparently overpaid significantly. And so,
Okay. And then I guess my other question, and maybe you can just direct me. So my other question is, we talked about Jamie having a contract. And it sounded like it was different than a normal employment contract, and then we were going to do a new contract for the treasurer. So is that something that's different than our policy, or is that, you said your attorney had to write up this contract?
correct.
So what was that in reference to, and is that part of our policy?
The employment, it's called an employment agreement, right? And it, except with a couple of exceptions that are within the employment agreement, it tracks our policy and specifically references the policy. It also incorporates the job description that was done. So that's
So
basically.
those go
And-
out on the website if they're different than the policies?
I would have to double check, but I believe the employment agreement is a public document and you can go and request it. And since it's personnel, we're not going to put it on the website.
Well, it shouldn't, if it's a contract the town is entering into, once it's signed, I think becomes public information, correct?
I believe it is,
Okay,
but I'm not certain on that, Tammy.
okay. I just think if we're signing a contract, it should be available, and I just was confused why it was something different than our policy, our personnel policy, so I was just trying to understand that.
A personnel policy is not an employment agreement. They're two different things.
No,
So,
but usually it like outlines similar, so that's what I was trying to identify what this contract was, because it wasn't clear.
yeah,
That's all.
okay. Did you have,
I think I can speak to that, at least a little bit. As Peter has said in the past, the transition in the state from elected positions to appointed positions has not been as carefully articulated by the state legislature as it could be. This yields gray areas that these contracts or these employment agreements hope to shed light on and clarify. So there's
no confusion about the gray areas in between elected positions and appointed positions.
Yeah, so if we can, I guess, if that can be given to the public. And then I found this on the League City and Town, and I thought it might be helpful, and you guys might have found the same thing, but it was just, might help us avoid what happened the last time. It kind of is it's what the league had on about what's expected of our treasurer on a regular basis, and I thought it might be helpful to have something that is signed by the select board and the treasurer. So it's just kind of similar to the job description, but I think a little more detail of the actual documents that are required to give to the select board and so on. So I got it off the league, just figure it was some food for thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think actually Bram had shared that same document with us last fall. The discussion that we had with Cynthia at the last meeting when she was in here, you were talking about the issue of local auditors versus the professional audit.
This is the treasurer though. This isn't the auditor. This is a treasurer. So this it has to do with like what the treasurer is required, because it seems like we've kind of somehow slipped up. And I think being that the select board is changing all the time and getting different volunteers or select board members, I think this outlines what kind of is required of the treasurer so that the select board could also have that document and know what to expect in a certain amount of time. Like it talks about receiving the balance statement and knowing what our liabilities are, very similar to what you've been discussing. I think
Correct.
this just outlines that.
Correct.
And makes it so that everybody's on the same page.
And the employment agreement, by the way, I mean,
Details all of it.
references
And that's what I don't know what this.
Yeah.
references all the state statutes for treasurer and the requirements there.
Yeah.
And the job description. And the job description, goes beyond just the duties of the treasurer, because we're asking them to assist with grants, assist committees with the purchasing policy and procurement and that type of stuff, so.
Yeah, I do think when you see when you see the agreement, you'll be satisfied to see that we've incorporated
Maybe some of that.
all of that,
I found it.
We've been
I
pretty
just figured
thorough
this-
and used Sarah Buxton to really kind of get it all, to include everything we really want and need and what is required by the state. So I think we're in good shape, and if when you see it and
Okay.
there's something else, let us know,
know.
right? But I think we've done a pretty good job on it. Okay.
Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we move to the town clerk's report. Jamie, you need to unmute. I don't know if you do that or.
I do.
Got it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, great. So yeah, I just have maybe like 6 items to report on. One is related to our new position for the town office, the administrative assistant and office coordinator. The search was successful, and I have a recommendation for the select board. I've sent that to them, but I'll also share here that, yeah, after a really strong interview, I'm recommending Acorn Swigum for the position. And then kind of related to that, I am imagining that they will use the town office at plainfieldvt.gov email / Google account. And so I'm going to be in the next little bit here preparing sort of a resource hub for this position with like bookmarks and a Google Chrome profile that's all like outfitted with, logins and the stuff that will make jumping into work much easier. And then they can adjust it as they like. Yeah. So next sort of category, the digital document index. So yeah, inspired by Tammy's feedback to the board, requesting, you know, access to public documents of the select board. I created an index of uh, of documents, whatever the select board is working with or receiving or acting on. And it's searchable and filterable. I'm really happy with it. I've heard some good feedback. So, yeah, for, I guess maybe no one here hasn't, or maybe everyone here has already seen it, but if anyone watches the recording or looks at the minutes later, yeah, check that out. Um, and yeah, I'm also working on just some more process design stuff. So I'm working on streamlining a process for creation of minutes and documenting that, and creating like a minute style guide. Um, I think it'll be useful even if I were to continue doing the minutes, but I imagine I might be able to delegate minutes to the this new position, which would free me up a little bit to do like recordings and other big stuff. Um, Yeah, we're just doing clean up. I've coordinated with Carol and closed several old like credit card accounts of people who are not here anymore or not employed with the town. Um, yeah, Carol's working on a big like cleanup with the bank account. I'm just working on the credit card accounts. And so that's feeling nice, just like closing off the open threads. And I um, created a couple of new credit card accounts for the departments like highway and emergency management so that they'll have their own. And we'll be working on how to make that more secure as well. Um, um, I was talking with Treasurer Tammy today about um, various systems for tracking inventory. And like credit cards would be one of those things that we could track and we could check out. So like, you know, cataloging our keys or hardware, just making sure we have like a list of everything that's town property, and then who is holding those things at any time. And as far as I know, that just has not existed. So that'll feel really nice to get just, more familiar with what's what we have going on. Um, and yeah, just an update, which is barely an update about the fire safety inspection that we had. Uh, I'm I reached out to the fire marshal and I'm waiting to hear back on clarification as far as how we can, like what options we have for that door. So yeah, and the exterior handrails too. It wasn't very clear based on the report how we could fix it, or if what that was going to look like. So I've asked for like if there's a reference guide or handbook or something. Yeah, I think that's what I got for you. Any questions?
I have a couple, and we click somewhere. Just on the latter issue, there are ADAG, Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility guidelines for construction of all kinds of things like handrails that is available online. Looking at the front porch, the back rails are fine. It's the one on the front ramp, and you either have to attach it to the building itself, which has some complications because of all the windows and ins and outs of that wall, or you attach it to the front porch railing itself, which I'm not sure has the strength and integrity to take that. So that would take some research, but that's just my background in the ADAG guidelines. on that. I had one question about the administrative assistant and office coordinator. I did not participate in the interview, and I was just curious if you discussed at all, you said delegating, one of the duties there. Did you talk at all about support for other committees such as the Development Review Board?
No, not specifically.
Okay. I know
I love that idea though.
they've been asking for assistance.
Oh, okay. Great to know. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll take note.
Yeah, I don't have questions. I just want to say thank you for the cleanup that continues in the office. It feels good to just be digging in and getting those loose ends tied up. And really excited to have a full complement of staff, to have a full team with more clarity around what people are doing and what their jobs are. And so thanks for your leadership around that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen.
Jamie, did you get other applicants for the position? Was Acorn the only one, or were there others?
We received 2 other expressions of interest, and there was a little bit of back and forth, and there were some limitations on, there were some areas where those other potential applicants didn't meet the qualifications or didn't have capacity in their schedule for like the 24 hours. So yeah, Acorn was the applicant who completed the whole process.
Thank you.
Other questions? I have one more, Tammy, then. I was just curious if you could say a little bit briefly about any of the trainings that you have been taking and what might be on your schedule for upcoming trainings.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was last month or the last 2 months. I had 3, actually, I guess I had 4. I had a series of courses from a teacher. Do you need me to pause? I can't see what's going on. Okay, okay. Um,
Go
from this
ahead.
uh, person who's been in municipal government work forever, named Lisa Pagano. And she primarily teaches and works with Microsoft apps. But a lot of the stuff that she was teaching is applicable to Google Workspace, which is what we have like town-wide. Um, so yeah, just like streamlining workflows and digital organization and linking data. Yeah, all stuff that's going to help the systems kind of like talk to each other. So I'm really excited about that. And that was, it doesn't sound very clerky, but it's those classes are designed specifically for municipal clerks. Um, and um, and yeah, then I also had the spring fundamentals training. I guess that was like toward the end of April. Which is for clerks and treasurers. And they have a track for the clerks and a track for treasurers, and then some parts where everyone comes together. Um, yeah, and I had gone to that last year too, but it was like the day after I started as assistant clerk and admin assistant, and so a lot of I didn't have very much context to latch onto stuff at that point, and so it was really cool to even though they were the same courses, yeah, I was able to understand them a lot more and network, which was really great. Yeah, I met the Callis town clerk and and connected with Rosie in East Montpelier. So and they're clerks are wonderful and they've offered their help and availability anytime. So I'd love to spend some time with them as well, seeing what they do and what I can learn from them.
Great.
Tammy?
Okay, I'm gonna put my banker hat on here, but department, I already had this conversation with Jamie, so she's heard it before. The credit card, I don't know what security we have doing departments. If you were going to authorize, and I think that gets back to the credit card authorization, and I didn't read it, I knew that was something you guys were working on. But typically speaking, you would want a credit card to be for a person, and then if that person was no longer authorized by the town, we can take that card away. But when you're doing a department, so for example, we talked about Plainfield Hardware Store. If you had an employee that worked for the town of Plainfield and got done, who says they can't go use that credit card at Plainfield Hardware Store? But it's not up to Plainfield Hardware Store to determine who's in their departments. That's my banker hat. I cringed when I heard department credit cards. Credit cards should be to people instead of, yeah, just a variety of people, because if somebody takes it, you're never gonna know, and you can't stop. And
Okay.
how are you determine who has authorization and who doesn't?
Thank you.
And then, so the other piece, I guess, Acorn, is that your partner?
Sure.
Okay, so I guess can the board talk about how that would work? A little conflict of interest there, so can you guys talk to that?
Next agenda.
That's
item.
our next agenda item.
Right on time.
Anything else further for Jamie before we move on to that? All righty.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
And I would just say on the
Thank
credit,
you.
card, we do have a credit card policy also on the agenda tonight. That is something that we have a template from Cynthia, and
We'll get to it.
definitely needs work, so. All right, discussion vote on the town coordinator officer. So, offer, excuse me.
So we have a recommendation from,
We do have a recommendation from Jamie.
and we need a motion to accept that recommendation.
That would be in order.
Okay, I'll make that motion. We accept the recommendation from the town clerk to hire Acorn Squigum as the town office coordinator, administrative assistant.
Karen has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Patty seconds. And is there a discussion?
I will be recusing myself.
As you should,
I will be recusing myself from this vote.
yes.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Patty, you were at the interview.
I was.
Yeah, speak to that if you would.
I was at the interview. I went to be devil's advocate that there are holes in it because I wanted them to be really sure. I wanted us to be really sure that they were the right person. I just was really blown away. They're pretty fabulous. I think that they're really the right person for the job. Has a really good, diverse background. Works with teenagers that can't be, in public schools, and knows how to de-escalate people. Can really work with people well. Has developed lots of systems themselves. Really appreciates elders and ideas from elders, and really appreciates everybody else's values. I think they would be a really fabulous person to have on our team. My only problem was too, I don't know, can I say this?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Well, I'm worried about that too, the conflict of interest, and how they kind of have to not, I told Frances Rose that they could no longer be like the advocate for the office as far as this person was concerned. And they agreed because it wouldn't make sense. If I hadn't been at the interview, I'd be really concerned about how it looks too, except that they were just so good. I feel like we need this person in this position.
Okay. Good. Thanks, Patty.
Andy, did you have
Is
follow-up?
that good?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a legitimate concern, and I think we have to talk about it,
Yeah.
100%. And it's a small town. We have run into these situations before where we've had family members supervising each other. It's not optimal. And I feel like the main issue or conflict of interest is to name it, to daylight it. And I think if you're good with staying out of the office and not interacting on office work,
We can't talk about that. I mean, shouldn't we talk about that in the conversation about that and not in this
That's our next
piece?
agenda.
That is on the
that's the next
agenda.
item?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will hold my thoughts.
I was gonna say, how can you discuss this without that? How, I don't know how you can discuss this situation and make a motion without understanding all the pieces to it. And I think it's only right that the community and the select board know how it's dealt with. I mean, I think that this isn't obviously, and I'll call it right, my husband worked for his father, right? So I get the connection. But I can also tell you, Kevin didn't answer, I mean, yes, Alan supervised him, but Kevin worked for the select board. So when it came to anything, it was the select board. And so that's where this is a little bit different. Frances Rose is on the select board. She's been making decisions for the office. I think, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you currently are friends and you do things outside of work as well. Is that not correct with?
Actually, I'm not so familiar with Acorn. Yeah, that like our interview was like the longest we'd ever spoken.
Okay, so no outside of work interaction. So,
You've recused, though, that's the.
yes, that's the point.
Here's the
Yeah.
point,
Right,
can
so
I
I guess
comment?
I think this is a bigger, and I think before the select board makes a decision, have you spoken to Carol and see how she feels about it? And because this is a bigger issue, there's a lot of conflict of interest here, and the comfort of this, it's a small office. And I'm just concerned how that's going to perceive, and how the town will know there's separated feelings in that. And I get it, like I said, my family did it, but being I guess a select board member, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to do that.
Jamie, you have something?
Yes. So not to speak for Carol, but I will just share something that we had talked about. So Carol asked me, that was Carol's first thought was like conflict of interest. And so I contacted VLCT, their legal team, and told them about the situation. And they said there's no like hard or defined conflict of interest. And it's very much like what Andy said, just name it, be transparent, and then the select board member would recuse themselves from relevant things. And Carol said as long as that was clear, that she, felt fine about it.
Thanks, Jamie. What I want to say is because, Rose, you have recused yourself from the discussion, what I will just say is that we're clear that a change needs to happen in terms of the liaison relationship. When it came up, there was a conversation, two of us together, another two of us to say, we need to make sure that the office liaisons are not related or not partners to the people who are working in the office. So the intention, and maybe we can flip-flop the motions, we can sequence differently, we can withdraw. So Peter, maybe we
could suspend conversation here and move to the next agenda and item come back.
And then come back.
If that's the desire of the board.
Let's do it.
Are we okay doing that? Yes.
Yes.
All right, I see consensus on that. So let us move to supervisory note at the new role in town office, and then we will return.
Okay. So the conversation,
Did you want to say something at this point?
okay.
when the reality of this was growing, indeed, conflict of interest came up as a concern. One very simple agreement that I'm fully on board with is not to be in any kind of supervisory position or role over my partner working at the town office. It would be another level, another layer on top of that, to simply no longer be one of the liaisons to the town office. To me, I wonder if that's necessary. I'm happy to step back even further if that's where the comfort levels are. But, you know, that was, step one was easy, step two is this discussion.
I have it occurred to me that when we were doing the liaison appointments, the only one that has three of us on it is the office and the three of you. So I wondered if it just, in keeping with the other assignments, if we just went to two and just had Patty and Peter do it, then there's no question and there's no perception of it. And because that is really what this amounts to, that's really what's going on. We don't want a perception. So if you're okay with that, then
For me, it's one less thing.
one less thing, right? Hey, have I got work for you?
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're willing, then I think if we just make that adjustment, that will solve this issue.
Yeah.
This
I
one.
would add one more point.
Just so everybody's clear, this is a temporary appointment. It's 6 months maximum, it could be less. So it's not a permanent position. Peter, you'll remind me of the language, it's a
limited service
limited
position.
service position. I don't know, it doesn't really change the question, but it means that we're not gonna have a longer term issue to address here.
Maybe,
We'll find out.
unless something changes.
Unless something changes, true.
Right.
We'll take it.
I would just add that, like Jamie, we have a couple other situations in town of similar relationships on boards, commissions, and committees, and got the same response from League of Cities and Towns, that there is nothing illegal, there's no violation of statute here. However, there are circumstances where one, and everyone who takes the ethics training should know this, that when there is a conflict, one needs to disclose. They do not necessarily need to recuse. It depends on the circumstances. But they should say transparently what the potential conflict is and then go from there.
Do we need to make a motion to unliaison you?
I
or are we just
I was thinking that such a motion would be in order if you
Okay.
wanted to make it.
All right, Francis Rose, did you want to say anything first?
I guess just, I'm in the realm of this to them.
Yeah.
Even within the town office, I think it was just a couple meetings ago that we authorized the hiring of Carol's daughter to help Carol in the office. This is not like the most wild thing. And yeah, I'm happy to, I'll make a motion myself to step back from liaison role with the town office to the select board. Is there a second?
Second that. Patty second.
All right, Francis Rose moves, and Patty Gemelli seconds to have the liaisons from the select board to the front office, to the town office, be just Patty and Peter.
Patty and Peter.
Is there further discussion?
Do I need to recuse myself from this vote?
I don't think you do. Is there a conflict? I don't think so. Unless you're going to
Identify yourself,
My
please.
name is Stuart Hancock. Well, thanks.
Thank you, Stuart.
My name's Stuart Hancock. I live all the way up the hill in Plainfield. Just listening to this, because we are also looking at some interesting oversight challenges around interdepartmental stuff.
Yes.
It occurs to me that in a situation like this, if it's not a permanent position anyway, if you guys put together some kind of regular cadence for some kind of oversight or review meeting about how things are going, then you'd have a better handle on how it is actually going, and if you ran into problems, you would get to them early rather than later. That's my thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. So we have a motion and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. We now return to the office coordinator offer, and we have a pending motion there, as I recall, to accept the appointment, accept the recommendation of Acorn Swigum. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir. Based on this conflict of interest, did you guys look at the other applicants, or are you just going based off recommendation?
I personally.
It wasn't ours to.
It wasn't ours to do.
You as a select board are required to make sure you're doing things to the best interest of the
Yes,
town.
yes, we
So if
are.
you're adding this additional conflict of interest, seems like we would make sure that what was identified was our best candidate.
I think,
Jamie, would you speak to that?
Jamie, what was your process, please?
Yeah. Yep. I specified the I went back to the personnel policy and made sure that I was meeting the requirements of a job search, which included specifying the window that the applications were going to be open, that we were going to be open to receive applications. Did that, posted that in the places, posted it in the Times Argus. So did all the things. And yeah, I guess I find myself wanting to reiterate that Acorns was the only complete application we received, and the only applicant who got to the interview process. One of the other applicants had let me know, like, we were going back and forth. There was like a question about it, and then they let me know that they had accepted another offer. And then the other one wasn't available for the amount of hours. They were only available like 12 hours a week. So yeah, by a long distance, Acorn was absolutely the best candidate and is a very strong candidate.
I think the process that we had outlined was followed. I had gotten a call from one person who was interested, and I don't know actually if they ended up being one of the other two people or not, but they didn't apply and weren't interviewed, so I didn't take it from there because I wasn't part of that process. So
Yeah.
we're part of the process here.
Yeah.
We're at the end of it.
No, I just want to say that this process was, Jamie did her part, then she brought qualified candidates to us. Patty sat in on the interview. The recommendation's been made. We have done our process. I feel like it was a good one. If you don't have other applicants, this is who you've got. So we need the help. It's not a permanent position. I think we're in good stead. Patty.
and only because they were the only applicant, they were also, I think, the best one. They were a very, very good applicant.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And we have one abstention, correct? Recusal. So it passes 4-9. We are now moving to,
Peter, can we pause?
you need a bio break?
No, better than that. I want to celebrate.
This is the first time in I don't know how long that we now have a full complement of staff in the office. I mean, this has been a struggle to get to this moment, so let us all be happy that we have passed this particular barrier. And I think they're all great.
Really good people.
Yeah,
What's that?
just today.
Yes.
Today.
Literally today, so yeah, this is good on us.
Yeah.
And I think we'll manage this appropriately. I think the concerns you raised, Tammy, are legit. I think we're doing our best to address them. I think we will.
Thank you.
Yay.
I know I told you to come a half hour late, but you missed that announcement at the beginning. So, thank you.
All right.
All right, yes, it is, I would just add to that, Andy, that not only do we have a full complement of staff, but we have completed the financial review of 2025, and that is now at the professional auditors for the first time. I don't know how long since the town of Plainfield had a professional audit. So that is now underway. We moved to biweekly payroll last time around. That has been in the works for months. Any number of items are being ticked off the list that have been needing attention for quite some time. We're still in cleanup mode, but we're much closer all the way around. So,
Great.
worth celebrating, Andy, thank you.
Okay.
All right, now, grant administrators report.
So before I present my,
Mike.
oh, thank you. Mike.
Mike.
Karen, actually. Yeah, before we get into this, let's just handle the 2 items that we added, because I know Bob is on the call.
So
So Rose, before we go into the presentation,
Cool.
yeah?
He was, here he is.
He's there. So, so Bob and I have been working, Bob primarily, and me as a support person, on the Municipal Energy Resilience Program grant. And Bob contacted me to ask that we tonight authorize him to be the official applicant for the federal solar incentive program, which basically gives back 30% of the full cost of the solar installation that we're doing at the garage, right, Bob? I'm looking to you. So we have the numbers, but tonight what we need is for Bob to be authorized so he can get online and register himself in ID.me to be able to then apply for this 30%. Bob, you want to say anything more about that?
I'll just say a little bit it's more of a process than I was expecting. It's pretty easy if you already have a tax account, but the problem is that the town is a nonprofit and therefore does not pay taxes. So normally it would just be added as a credit to whatever taxes were owed, as it is in the case of individuals. But in this case, I have to find this ID.me account, and then I registered the town as a nonprofit, filing a tax return, which is a special one-time tax return for each project. And then after they review that and give me a tax paying number, which can take up to 4 months, I heard today from BCLT, or VLCT, rather, and then we can apply for the incentive, which then comes fairly quickly, I guess, and will be deposited in the town bank account. So that's the choreography.
Yeah, so once again, the federal government making it really easy to get money back from the federal government, she said facetiously. So that's what we talked about today. And I would also get an ID.me just to back Bob up as the grants administrator. So if he ran into any difficulty, we'd have a way to do it.
Is this an update or a proposed motion?
It's a proposed motion to authorize Bob to be the official applicant for the federal solar incentive program.
Second.
Karen moves and Francis Rose seconds to have Bob Atchison be the applicant for this
Federal
solar incentive program.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion?
Thank you, Bob.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Okay. Also, second item within my report, for the Emergency Watershed Protection Grant, we have entered into the phase of this project where we can submit for reimbursements from the federal grant. And I need for the board to authorize Peter to sign the reimbursement requests. So I'm making a motion for that.
I second that.
Karen moves and Patty seconds that I be authorized to sign
Sign
for the
the
submission of
reimbursements.
reimbursement
Correct.
requests.
Yep.
Sorry, just let me
It's all right.
finish.
No, no,
Any discussion?
no.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Rose, if you can bring up the presentation. Hopefully this won't take a ton of time, but I really prepared for the group tonight, and I have shared it with the board, and now we'll share it with the public. And this presentation is also on our documents, our digital documents site, so everybody can get all the detail. But what I wanted to do tonight was prepare to show everyone, oops, hello. Go back.
Excuse me.
What are you doing? All right, you can advance to the first slide. What I wanted to do is give us a full picture of what recovery infrastructure projects are underway and that we have interfaced with in terms of the grants. And so this is a map that when I put it together, I was like, wow, we have a lot going on here. So I'll be taking them one by one, but number one is the Mill Street Bridge project. Number two is Brook Road Bridge 21 project. Number three is three locations, Bridge 12, 23, and 24, which is now one project under federal highway. And 1, 2, and 3 are all federal highway projects. Number 4 is the EWP Emergency Watershed Protection Grant, which is the stretch of the Winooski from the Friends Meeting House to behind the Plainfield Health Center. And then number 5 is the Reckfield Road water outflow project. So we'll go one by one. This is more top of the trees, but I think it's important for folks to understand kind of the whole view of what's going on instead of the projects one by one, because it gives you a sense of the magnitude of what's been in play and what is in play. So next slide, please. Great, so Mill Street Bridge. This project is being managed by VHB, Evan Dietrich, and the engineering firm is Du Bois & King. We completed pre-design and engineering this spring and have submitted for emergency repair reimbursement monies of $127,000 and change, and those funds have been received. The engineering design reimbursement invoices through April have been submitted. We get paid back at 90% of those, and those also have been received, those dollars, with a town share of 10%, so you can see 155,474 back, and 17,000, there's an extra zero there, 275. Sorry about that. Construction on this project is scheduled for spring 2027, estimated total 3.2 million. So this is what we know today, and the work continues. The design work, pre-design is done, but now we're into the next phase of design, where they're getting ready for construction. So we'll have planning time over the winter, but that's where Mill Street Bridge is. It's the first one that will be worked on of the federal highway projects. Okay, second, location 2 is Brook Road Bridge. This is Bridge 21. Again, this is the same team. Evan Dietrich is our manager and Du Bois & King. And this one will follow right after Mill Street Bridge. So the timing is Mill Street, then Brook Road Bridge, again in the spring. But the monies for emergency repairs, 98,000 and change has been received. Another 150,000 has been received through reimbursements through April billing, and again at 90%. So the model is the same for Brook Road and Mill Street Bridge in terms of where we are in timing and how it's being paid. Again, 3.2 million on this bridge, estimated. Okay, any questions on those so far? Next.
I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah, there's more coming.
Yeah.
So this next location, Project 3, is the combination of bridges 12, 23, and 24, which we have called the Great Washout or the Grand Canyon or whatever up on Brook Road, but that area above Cameron and up to Gray, right? And where we are with this, so our project manager here is Pat Travers of GPI, and our engineering firm here is VHB. We are at the phase of alternate option studies. There was a meeting here a few weeks back to talk about those options. What happens with permanent projects for the federal highway is the emergency measures money, so let me back up a little bit. So when all the damage happened on Brook Road, it was determined, we determined the cost of all the damages, and that was a pretty lengthy process. Thank you, Josh. Josh and I worked on that pretty closely. But there were a number of places that were determined to be permanent projects needed. And so where there were no permanent projects, the emergency measures money was submitted for and received late last year, basically. So, but the projects where we needed to do permanent, the emergency monies were held until this phase. So what happens now is that we're into the permanent project process. So now the emergency measures funds have been submitted for reimbursement, and those just went in, $235,000 on this one, which is a receivable at this point. We haven't gotten it quite yet. And the budget for this current phase of alternate options is $158,000. But this project right now is at 9.2 million or something like that. However, because the alternate options are gonna ultimately this August provide the town with the 3 options and the costs of those options, a determination will be made. The town will decide, basically, and the board will decide which way are we going. And then that number will be revised. So we don't know where we'll end up here. But right now, we're in this alternate options phase, right? So every time we get an invoice for work being done, we submit now for reimbursement, and $9,300 has been put in recently, just happened. Construction here on this project is 2030 or later, we think, and the project cost will be determined. But again, this is a 90% grant and 10% required of the town.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the 3 federal highway projects.
Question?
Yes.
Regarding could you go back one slide there? I want the term, the emergency measures reimbursement. So we've received on Mill Street already. All right, and this one, project location 3, was just submitted, so we haven't received that yet. That's a receivable. Quick question, what's the turnaround has been on that? Pretty quick, right?
Pretty quick, yeah, within the month, within 30 days.
Okay. And are these like the FEMA monies? Do they lose their identity? Are they
unrestricted?
unrestricted?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, we've already spent them. So this is reimbursement back to our account and unrestricted.
Okay. So we could use that amount, if you will,
Yeah.
for the match on a project
You could,
to a
yeah.
certain
On
point.
one of the other projects?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, where I'm going with this is, I mean, we have not had, and this goes to all of our accounting, and our fund balances and this and that. This will inform us as to when and how much we might need to bond for.
Correct.
For the permanent, and, the timing of that will depend,
Right.
particularly on this project. We're probably 2 years from that
Right,
at this point. So,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
I think, hang on. Cynthia and I have been working on the receivables and getting all of the dollars for all of the projects identified correctly in the revenue side of the ledger. So We will have, when we close out this year, at the end of this month, we will have a very clear picture of what we have received and what is still to be received. And we have a system now for how, when I submit a reimbursement, I also communicate to her, and which will now become our new treasurer, to book a receivable, so against the project, so that we can easily match when the money comes in and we know what we're expecting. But we'll have a full picture. We have not had one to date. We've just had money coming in and then trying to figure out, well, what was that for? Because we didn't have a placeholder in the accounting system.
Yeah, and the best we had was an estimate that it's going to be enough for match, but we haven't known that for sure. So, Tim.
So reimbursement tells me that we had the money originally. So can you speak to where the money came originally?
Sure.
And should that be going back in the budget, or
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yep. So at the beginning of the flooding, right after we knew we were gonna have expenses, we bonded for $1 million with the bond bank. Sometime last year, that was converted into a loan with the bond bank, and I don't know what the terms of that are, but I know we have a schedule of payments for that loan.
It's a line of credit.
It's not a line of credit.
It's not.
It's not a line of credit. It is a loan with terms and principal payments and interest payments. And there's a schedule. And so that has been also worked into our budget in the accounting, we have shared those terms with Cynthia and with Bonnie, and with Bonnie too. So that's been included. So all of this will make sense when we close out, and we'll be able to see what money we really do have to spend. We don't know. We don't know exactly. There's money coming, there's money gonna continue to come. But there's also money going to continue to need to be raised because the 10% is real money.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have a better idea when we close out this year to be able to see what do we have, what do we need to borrow. I mean, we're going to need matching money for Mill Street and Brook Road Bridge, those two projects. Could be up to $300 and some odd $1,000
Each.
Yeah. So how much we have, when we have it, we don't know that yet. I haven't seen those reports yet. So we're gonna have to make a decision at some point, but we're not there. We just have to wait. Okay?
So just to clarify, so basically, we've taken $1 million loan out,
Mhm.
and that's what we're reimbursing.
Yep.
And so the question is that go into our budget for future expenses, or do we pay back the loan?
Correct.
Okay.
That's a decision that has to be made
Okay.
once we know where we are.
Thank you.
Yep, okay.
That's correct, yeah.
The answer is both. We did, for example, use our own general fund monies for emergency repairs. Our road crew went out and did stuff. Rather than doing what they normally would have done, they did repairs, and we got reimbursement for that. So some of that goes into our general fund. We also have the $1 million loan. So the money can go to both of those places.
Yeah.
How much is left, like Karen says, we're not there yet. We don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to be clear
Yes.
that there was additional funds, and I don't remember the taxpayers voting on that. So I'm assuming it was done as an emergency, something to do with the flooding and emergency to do the bond bank? To do the $1 million loan? I don't remember.
That came through the select
That was a
board.
select
Right,
board.
that's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, that's called a current expense note, and there are limits on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right, well, we'll keep moving. Okay, project number 4, this is the Emergency Watershed Protection Grant, and as I said, it's the Winooski River bank from Friends Meeting House to behind the health center. And we are meeting this week, Thursday, with the property owners. The team is meeting. Our team is Andy Hope from DuBois & King is our engineer, our manager, and Brian Boyd from CVRPC is supporting. And I've been the lead on this one. I'm learning a lot. So we're meeting with a group from the Martin Meadow piece first, and then there are two other properties, 125 Berry Hill and 99 Brook, that are also part of this, but they're smaller projects. So right now, there's a $150,000 design and engineering fund that is 100% funded. So it costs the town nothing and costs the property owners nothing, so we can get all that work done. It's being done now. The total construction project that is paid out at 75%, it's 1.366 million for all the work. The match is 303,000, and it is to be paid by property owners. That's the way this grant program works. And the reason for that, because folks have asked, is that the benefit is to the property owner. So the interesting thing about the multiple properties involved in the largest project here is that the ones that perhaps are the most, like the Plainfield Health Center is not actually on the bank. Dennis Hammock's property is behind the health center, but the health center is at risk, and it is an asset of the town, that it's a significant asset of the town that is at risk potentially if that bank goes. So they're included in this conversation, but it isn't exactly their property that is adjacent to the bank. So we are including, so our meeting is Friends Meeting House, the Cogvilles, the Dennis Hammock, and a representative from the health center to have this conversation and to look at the options and to get everyone thinking about how would they split the match if in fact, or would they be looking for some support some other way? I don't know. But this is a conversation we need to have now so that we can look at how this might be mitigated, because it's significant. The property at the Friends Meeting House, the driveway is going to collapse. They can they have no other way in, and right now it's not safe to actually even drive on it. So what's going to happen? So those meetings are happening this week. We'll know more after we meet. We'll see where people's heads are at. Should be interesting. I'll report back. And then the last one is a FEMA project, public assistance. This is for the wastewater outflow repair on Recreation Field Road. We just went through the RFP process where wastewater selected Aldrich and Elliott's bid. So we're right at the beginning of this, but hoping to have this work done in the fall of this year. This is a 92.5% funded project through FEMA and 7.5% match from the town. That's where that is. So those are the 5. There are other things going on. But we are not managing grants for the other projects. There's the dam project, the Batchelder Dam, and there's the H&H, the hydrology and hydraulic study of the Great Brook, happening also at the same time. But we are not managing those grants, and so I did not include those in this report tonight. But I just really wanted everybody to know, like, all of what is included in the grant work right now.
Thank you.
It's massive.
It's massive, wow, Karen.
Okay.
Yeah. Great work and very, I think, concise and clear slides, so.
Thank you.
And you said those are up on the website?
Yes, they are.
Great, great.
Amazing, Karen, thank you
Any
so much.
other questions comments for Karen?
No, just thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an agenda request, which is, I noticed we have some guests here. I wonder if we can rearrange the agenda and get them in.
There are no objections?
No objection.
All right, let's move on to, let's see. The item, we have a contract non-renewal with East Montpelier Ambulance, so we'll come back to those other 3 items. So,
Gentlemen.
Jonathan, or you want to speak to this?
Sure, and I brought Stuart Hancock, who's head of the Fast Squad.
Yep.
Please.
And I know we have, just for context, the select board has received several letters from, I think, a former employee of East Montpelier Fire Department, and so we're aware of the situation and some of the circumstances, but I think it's time to talk about it.
Read about it in the bridge too, they just
Yeah,
don't article
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
So-
Please give me your name again.
Jonathan Matthew,
Fire chief.
Fire Chief. Stuart Hancock has addressed the select boards of 2 other towns about this already, so
Wow.
he's probably gonna be the one that does most of the talking. We're recommending that you submit a written request, because we have to give them a year's notice to cancel the contract with East Montpelier. The hope is not that we get out of our contract, the hope is that they get their house in order and that we can continue using them for EMS, ambulance service. But it does give us like a clock to start counting down, and also gives them some pressure to get things happening over there. There's just a lot of chaos in a lot of different areas of that department. Generally, we don't get involved with any politics of other departments, but it's come to the point where it's affecting patient care and response time, and so it's time for something to happen. And with that, I will pass the mic to Stuart.
So I don't know how many details.
Stuart, you can sit, you don't have to stand the
Yeah,
whole
please.
time.
I said too much.
What's your last name, Stuart?
Hancock.
Hancock, thank you.
So I don't want to burn too many people's, too much time if you guys spend so much time on everything else you do. The gist of it is, they've always had challenges over there for a number of years. They've come to a head recently, specifically directed around patient care from a number of different directions. The leadership over there made a bad and erroneous critical care patient decision recently, which really exposed, ripped the cover off all of this. And there is, and some of this is anecdotal, some of this is hearsay, some of it is things that we've experienced directly, and some of it is information that's been communicated to me directly by mostly former employees of East Montpelier EMS. They had a change of leadership last November that I would feel comfortable characterizing as a coup. They tossed the woman out who had been running the squad. She was far from perfect, but she was all in on patient care, and she was trying, I thought she did a pretty effective job, personally. I know her fairly well, and if she was ousted, I believe, with a phone call. It kind of all started with that. The person put in leadership over there is a 22-year-old person. Really hard for me to not characterize him as a kid just because of his age, and he has, as far as I understand it, 0 leadership experience, et cetera, et cetera. There is a very long-standing good old boy mentality with the board for East Montpelier Fire Department going over there. There's a lot of glad-handing and, pat my back, I'll pat yours kind of stuff going on. This person in charge right now is got himself pretty entrenched. It's led to a ton of things that have impacted directly this town, our patient care, the town of Marshfield, everyone, and up the food chain, Cabot, East Tallis, and everywhere the East Montpelier services. So very, very, as quickly as I can go through it, let's see here, boy oh boy. They've had a loss of experienced personnel. They lost all of their paramedics. They were either have been fired or have resigned. I don't have to go into detail there. There are plenty of names and phone numbers that are for people who are willing to talk about any and all of this. So they basically have had a collapse in morale over there. People have been fired for complaining about the head of the department, including one complaint to OSHA. I don't think the person who is running the place over there has any idea what federal whistleblower laws are, but I expect he may be finding out. There are several lawsuits that are either been put into play or in the process of being put into play right now as a direct result of not only the patient care problem. I don't have hard and fast facts on that, but that's a hearsay piece. And at least 2 people who were fired days after complaining about leadership are lawyering up or have done so. So in the span of a very short period of time, we went from 0 to potentially 3 lawsuits, which is kind of a direct threat to the liability insurance and thus the viability of East Montpelier EMS as an entity. Unlawful policy deficient terminations, retaliation termination against employees, repeat cancellation or refusal of paramedic intercepts, so you're requesting advance medical care, and for reasons that are not valid per the protocol, EMS protocol book, within a minute. In this particular case that really made the paper, the paramedic was turned around once again by the leadership of East Montpelier. Reduction in paramedic staffing. So we pay for a fully staffed professional ambulance corps from East Montpelier, which is supposed to include, where available, a paramedic and ALS, AEMT, advanced life support personnel. The last I know was, I think within the last week, all the paramedics are gone. I think the last AEMT is gone. They've been sending people out on runs that have weeks or months just out of training. They're sending them out in pairs. There's no veteran to oversee, the grizzled veteran going like, all right, let me show you this is done. That has apparently been gone for a lot of these runs. So without adequate veteran oversight, policy was changed by leadership over there so personnel could respond from the home instead of the department, so that adds to the latency of response time. And you're not paying for that. You're paying for a fully staffed ambulance corps. Breach of service expectations to partner towns, which is us and the others I've mentioned. Governance failures by the current board, inadequate oversight of EMS leadership, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I can tell you that what is in play right now, including what we're talking about doing, which is sending a letter of our intent to terminate our relationship with East Montpelier, is to send a message that they need a huge and significant change over there. I can tell you that I spoke to, and you know some of this, I spoke to the East Montpelier Select Board in executive session, and then the next week I spoke to East Montpelier and the East Dallas Board in select session, in executive session, excuse me, and went into grotesque detail around all of this stuff and gave them way more information than they'd ever want to hear. And it was within a week or so when the article broke in the Bridge, and really sort of much more publicly tore the cover of all of this. So I'm going to stop now, but I will say yes.
So my question is,
Mike.
thanks, I've got the mic, I'm gonna talk.
Sorry.
Come closer.
That mic.
Yeah,
Share the
thank you.
mic.
Share the mic.
Oprah, I'm not.
My question, and Jonathan, you raised this, I hear the letter of intent, but it seems to me that they are in breach of contract.
I agree, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think we could get out of it right now if we want to, but I think the best thing for the towns is to give them a little impetus to
Bingo.
change.
That's it exactly. So I agree with Jonathan. Sorry. Or Phil Donahue, I guess you might. I agree with Jonathan that as I said, this is all about patient care. What we want is the best patient care experience for the entire community. The best patient care experience we could have in this community is not only Plainfield's Fast Squad, but East Montpelier being run at a top professional level. I'll throw this out there because Jonathan is much more informed about this than I am, but as an example, Barrytown, by every account that I can find, everything here is extremely professionally run and well done. They are sometimes people who respond to us, particularly paramedics, because guess what? East Montpelier doesn't have paramedic anymore. So, and that's been part of the kerfuffle is that I believe, if I get this right, East Montpelier actually has to reimburse Barrytown every time a paramedic is called for real money. And that plays into this. But going back to the point of the intended letter, yes, sir. Oh, Mike.
So I understand we're trying to apply some leverage to get them to improve their behavior.
Yes.
And then I understand the strategy and I understand why we'll probably vote yes to do that. I also wonder if we're putting lives at risk by letting this slide for a year.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, either one.
Somebody take the mic.
Yeah,
You know where it's going.
yeah.
Okay.
So East Montpelier Ambulance is by the mutual aid agreements backed up by whatever agency is closest that can supply the necessary certification. It's not like they're sending out people that are totally unqualified that are trying to do something above their scope. And we did actually make a complaint to the state and the medical director about a specific call where a paramedic was turned back, and they have since changed their policy. So they now have told all their EMTs that they're not allowed to turn paramedics back unless they're actually on scene and determine it's not needed. Another thing that's important for you all to know is that I met with the Berrytown representative to see if they have the capacity to take Plainfield on, because when the contract came up, we initially asked Berrytown before we signed the contract, and they said that they had just added Williamstown, and they couldn't guarantee that they had enough capacity for service. They do have enough capacity at this point. They're not trying to poach contracts from East Montpelier, but if it's necessary, they will step in, and if there's more than Plainfield and Marshfield, if one of the other towns is added, then they can actually station an ambulance around here during the day.
Potentially in East Montpelier. Now, that's going to create
friction.
Right. And they know that, and they're not comfortable with that, but they will do it if they have to.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that Marshfield is also going to have the same letter of intent to cancel the contract, and that would push things. The other thing that's really important is that the 3-year contract that all the towns have been asked to sign is a compounding.
It's like 16, 18% each year for 3 years.
Yeah, so the 3rd year, I think they're not, I think we should get out of that contract anyway, unless we can renegotiate it for more reasons.
We're ending our first year under this contract now,
First year
right?
ends on July 1st.
Right.
So the way that it's written in the contract, we could give the letter today, and that gives a year for today or whatever. So we could just do it July 1st to July 1st. But we need to renegotiate the amount because the justification from East Montpelier was that their ambulance service would go under if they didn't increase the rates the amounts that they are. However, when the select board, or when the town clerk from Marshfield questioned them at a meeting, the way that they have their finances set up is the reimbursements that come from insurance, like the money that they make, doesn't go into the ambulance service, it goes into their capital fund. So basically the towns that are paying these rates are buying fire trucks for East Montpelier. That's just wrong, I mean, it's just the wrong way to set things up. So I think they need to figure out a different way to finance their system, but unless there's pressure put on them, if we all just pony up the money that they're asking for, nothing's gonna change. So I think it's important to give them notice and then, let things happen over there, hopefully in the right direction. If not, Berrytown can take over.
Let me just add something to that before I hand it to you. To Jonathan's point, when they said, oh my goodness, we're going to go under without these big increases, we said, wow, if it's really that bad, show us the money, show us, open the books. Nope, we won't do it. Now, I don't know all the details. I know they are a 501(c)(3), they're privately held. There's this bizarre situation where they defaulted on the finance for the building they built 10 or 11 years ago, and guess who bailed them out? East Montpelier and East Calais. So they jointly own that building, and I heard yesterday, I think they actually own the ambulances too, if that's true. Anyway, long story short, they will not show you their books. So we can't even validate that it's like, oh, the ambulance score is going to go under. And the suspicion is, wow, that's a pretty steep increase without any attribution or justification shown to the towns that are actually sending the money. So the last piece for me about why we believe we need to send these letters of intent to terminate is exactly that. We talked about sending a message. That place will invert the minute they get these letters because they can't or don't believe, and I think it's probably true, they can't survive without the funds from these towns. So, courtesy of what the select board information, the back and forth was, there are several options. One is they are actually discussing carving EMS away from the fire department, which I personally believe is probably a good idea, and it becomes a part of the municipality where they're. A second is they're talking about hiring somebody to provide direct oversight authority to the ambulance corps, which I think is actually a great idea. It's going to cost a lot of money to do it, but I think in the long run it's probably the best thing for the community. And the third one is, as Jonathan was saying, hey, the end run is that they stage 2 ambulances from Berrytown in that fire department, and that's who owns the show now. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. A lot of information here. And I do remember the conversations we had when the contract came up, the steep increases, the look at Barrytown and their situation. In an email that you and I exchanged, I think you asked the question, or made a statement, you weren't sure what happens if if we don't have a contract with somebody, what happens? And that's sort of a general question. What would happen to any town in Vermont in that situation? Do you know?
I know when you call 911, an ambulance has to be dispatched, so there's a mutual agreement between all the towns, and the way EMS works is that whether or not we have a contract, an ambulance will come.
Someone will come.
Yeah, we won't get to that. I mean, we'll do a contract with somebody else if we need to, but.
Yeah. I mean, looking at our road situation and our flood situation, we've heard this at public hearings on, options for fixing roads and how long it takes to get to some homes these days. I mean, I could certainly see where it's easier for an ambulance to come from Barrytown to certain sections of Plainfield long before East Montpelier, and vice versa.
Yes.
Okay? And if they staged an ambulance in East Montpelier, then we'd be covered in both regards. So, do you have a draft letter written?
No.
Okay. And we have Francis Rose, you're our public safety liaison, am I correct?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's you and me, maybe?
Is it two of you?
I think it is.
I think it's the both of us, yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if we might commission a draft here.
Yeah, I think that's where we're heading. I mean, Jonathan, we need your help.
Well, the contract is with the town.
I understand, but this is a 2-paragraph letter. It basically says, unless or whatever, then we're giving you 1 year notice.
I would just give them notice.
All right.
I don't think you need to,
Don't have to tell them why?
no, I don't think you need to.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to ask, then that's fine.
No, I
Actually,
think,
might be more effective if you don't tell them why.
It just gives us the start of the clock.
Yeah.
And then if they want to talk to you guys, I mean, they'll probably want to come and talk to the select board, I assume.
Right.
The contract is with the select board,
Yeah.
not the fire department.
Tammy, could you get them to open their books, please?
I did hear at a meeting that they, that was the statement that was made from East.
You're the person to do that.
Yeah.
So,
I can appreciate the simplicity of a
Yes.
short letter here.
yeah, all right.
So,
I'll
yeah,
make a motion based on this conversation.
all right.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike, thank you. I'm Mike. Today
I'm
I'm
Mike.
Mike. You're Mike number 2. So I would move to send a letter of intent to East Montpelier Ambulance to terminate our contract in 1 year.
We don't pay anymore, love Plainfield.
We're breaking up with you.
I like the love Plainfield, yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good
we're breaking
job.
up with you.
I know Marshfield is
That's what I meant.
leaning the same way, they're also going to do, their fire chief is going to address their.
Yeah, I mean, we can,
So it's-
I would run the letter by you before we send it, but it's probably as simple as that.
Sounds
So
like-
that's my
Okay,
motion.
and should I be authorized to sign that?
And authorize Peter to sign it on behalf of the select board, yes.
I'll second.
And just to be clear, sending the letter doesn't mean it's going to get executed, it's just not. We can, but it gives us the option to execute it.
Just-
once it's-
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
You're applying pressure.
It's a letter of intent.
It's a letter of intent.
I'm
Yes.
seconding.
Yeah, I mean, the clause in the contract says that we have to give a year's notice in order to do that. And so we're giving a year's notice.
Right, and so you don't even have to get into the breach of contract thing, which they are in the middle of right now.
Yeah, I think that's down the road.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But from what you've described here, I mean, Stuart, you could have stopped talking halfway through and you added, there were enough points there to convince me, so.
It's my competition.
Are you guys tag teaming?
There's a club? Is there a club?
Oh, I see, yeah, I have no idea.
All right, so Andy moved and Karen, you
I
seconded?
did.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, is there any further discussion? And looking up, nothing. All right. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously, 5-0.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for all you do, thank you.
Thank you for raising hell.
Yeah.
I would rather go into a burning building than do what you guys do.
Yikes. Yikes.
Well, we all have our
We
talents.
we have those days.
Jonathan, that's going on a campaign poster, by the way.
Okay,
All right.
that's this one. We're going back.
We need to go back to the road commissioner's report. I don't see our road commissioner.
See Carl.
Nancy Carl.
I would just take the opportunity to say that the road commissioner and I, although I think he's in a different role tomorrow, will be tilling up the strip next to the handicap parking
Oh,
space.
good, to make it bigger,
To make it bigger, yeah, we
Good, thank you.
contacted DigSafe last week, and Green Mountain Power didn't put any flags up, so we're all set there. Sewer and Water said we're not close to anything, so
Very good.
that's
Thanks for
gonna happen.
I am the liaison to the accessibility committee, so I will let them know.
Yeah,
that This is happening
yeah.
tomorrow.
That is happening
Oh,
tomorrow.
Alicia's here.
8 a.m. if anyone
Well,
wants to
Alicia
come down.
was here.
Not anymore.
Alicia-
Not anymore.
Gone,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
There's a hand up.
Bob
from
Atkinson has it.
Bob,
Sorry.
Yes,
Hand us
Bob.
Are you talking about the one on Mill Street, the handicap parking?
No, here at the Town Hall Opera House.
Oh, all right. I was just gonna let you know about the solar facility there. Has some conduit that goes from
No,
the
no,
bank to the
no.
river. No. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay. All right, so we will pass on the road commissioner's report. Next we have is the loan application signing authorization. This is for the state revolving loan program. This is for the bond that we passed on town meeting day for $700,000 for replacing the water line on School Street. And I think I sent a copy of the loan application to all of you. The engineer fills out the first part of the form, did that. Carol then worked on the financial section. Karen and I spent a lot of time on that. Cynthia spent a lot of time on that. So that is now done. This will go in. I was in contact with the engineer Nate this morning just to cover the steps. So we approve this. All select board needs to sign. I have the signature page here, which we'll scan and send tomorrow. Jamie and Carol have already signed. And then we will upload this application, upload the signature page, and upload all the financial statements that Cynthia has prepared. And then Nate will combine that all and send it on to the state. He believes the review, and I confirmed this with Ken, blanking on his name, at the bond bank.
Oh, Lingy.
Ken Lingy at the bond bank. So the state, this goes to the Agency of Natural Resources. This is an EPA-funded thing. And so they basically spend their time looking at the project, the environmental impact, et cetera. And then they send it to the bond bank, who actually will manage the loan. At that point, we will receive closing documents from our bond counsel, like we do it to do any financial thing. So he's already sent his opinion to the bond bank, and so Ken's on board with this. So I'm not sure about the timing when we get back then, but we're a couple months away from the review at the state, done at the state level before it goes to the bond bank, but.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to authorize Peter, to authorize all of us to sign the revolving loan application for the water line for School Street.
Second.
so Karen moves and Francis Rose seconds to authorize the signing of this. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. And I will, you have your names are typed in on one side, so please sign opposite your names as we pass this around, so we don't have to white anything out like we did last time.
Oops. Yes, oops.
Oops.
I remember that.
All right,
We'll not mention it.
Thank you.
mention what?
I don't know.
All right, similarly, we have a bond anticipation note authorization, which I also sent around to you. And this has to do with the paving article that we approved at town meeting as well. Just as background, in this particular case, we cannot apply directly to the bond bank because we have not had a professional audit done. We are likely to be able to do that this fall once we have the audit back from Sullivan and Powers, in which case we would switch from this, which is a bond anticipation note through our bank, community bank, when we would switch and enter the winter pool that the bond bank board would then vote on. And so the switch would, I think they vote at their December meeting, and the switch would occur sometime January, February-ish. So that is that. And this is for 200,000. We had authorized 250,000, but both bids came in lower, and so we don't need the whole 250. So this is for 200,000.
Is it just for you to sign?
This is
All of us?
just for me, I believe. Hang on just a second, let me get. Yes.
Make a motion. So I will make a motion that we authorize Peter Youngbear to sign the bond anticipation note authorization for the paving loan in the amount of $200,000.
I'll second that.
All right. Moved by Karen, seconded by Patty, that I'm authorized to sign the bond anticipation note for 200,000 with Community Bank. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that also passes
I'm an aye.
unanimously.
Laura, don't you think that-
You're an aye?
I'm an aye.
All right.
So now,
All right.
So can I know you just voted, but can I ask a general question?
Yeah,
Sorry, I had my hand raised, but that's okay. Is there a reason why you wouldn't use the reimbursement funds to temporarily hold this over since the bridges, because you've got reimbursement, you just showed us up there. So we have from the $1 million.
well, we haven't
So could we
factored,
use-
I think we haven't factored any of that in yet because we don't know what that's ultimately going to look like. So I don't think we made a commitment to using those funds for anything at this point. So,
Right, but this is only temporary, so wouldn't it save us interest by using our own funds that we're already paying interest on versus double dipping on interest? I'm just questioning, I guess.
I don't know if, because this is ultimately headed to the bond bank and the voters authorized borrowing. I mean, I have to go back and look at the article that says unless there's other funds that come up or something.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, it would still ultimately do the same thing, but we would be using our funds for the temporary financing, I guess, to avoid, because technically we're paying interest on the $1 million, and now we're gonna be paying interest on this money. So if we have money sitting there that was reimbursement, we're just kind of, I'm just thinking we're getting hit with interest twice. That's all, until that goes to the bond bank.
Yeah,
So could we avoid that by using some of the reimbursement funds for temporary hold? I don't know, I'm just throwing it out.
I think I think what you're raising is a valid point, and I think if we had a clear picture of what the actual cash looked like that we have in our accounts and what our commitments are, I think then that would be
a fair
a fair
consideration.
consideration for sure. I just don't know that we're, until we have that picture, like, because every one of those projects needs a 10%, and everyone, it's like, there's money going out. So I just don't have a sense yet, and I think the idea here was to get this done. So how much interest we would end up paying, maybe there's a point that we just could pay it sooner because we would have a sense of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, $200,000 over probably a 15-year note is not going to amount to a whole lot each year. And, the difference between bank interest and for 6 months to 8 months, switching over to the bond bank interest is not going to be a whole bunch of money.
It's also,
So
Rose has it.
the other thing is that the paving project can happen quickly, they're ready to go. And so, we don't want to delay here.
Rose had her hand up. I want to say this. If we had an active treasurer for the last 8 months, we'd have someone advising us to say, you should do it this way, or this way would cost you this, or this. And I think short of that, we've made this move because we think we don't know what the cash flow looks like. But I think what you're raising is valid, and I think it makes a lot of sense, but I just think we haven't had that kind of advice presented to this point, so we're doing this move, and it's a little bit of interest, but I get it. I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, in talking to the bank and in talking to the bond bank people, neither of them raised that as an issue or as a suggestion. In talking to the bond bank, when it became clear that we couldn't apply at this time for the normal path, he said there is a workaround, and this is the workaround that he advised us on, so.
I think perhaps building on that point, just offering clarification for myself and anybody else, the anticipation piece of this note is because we missed the first season of bond authorization through the bond bank, as my understanding, and that this is kind of holding our place for the fall, which also means we're not actually actively accruing interest right now. So in the next number of months, we might actually gain clarity from the treasurer and might have opportunity to take a U-turn here on this, should that be required. But this gets us in line for the program right now. This is our due diligence right now.
Right.
I thought we're taking the loan out now. The interest will start.
We're taking the bond anticipation note out.
Right.
That is a bridge tool, financial bridge tool to a bond. However, and I don't have the town article report with me tonight that has the article, I think there is language in there that says, that authorizes us to use other funds if they become available. Let's say all of a sudden a grant came up, then we wouldn't have to borrow. Similarly, I think as Francis Rose just said, if we find out this fall that we've got 200,000 spare cash, I don't think we have to go execute the loan.
So they're not paving right now?
No, they are going to pay for it.
Right, so you're going to give them money, that's going to take interest.
Well, from the road foreman, Michael Bingham says Pike will demand full payment upon completion.
Right.
So they had talked about, the guy at the bank had talked about a line of credit so that they could draw on it. And he said, no, that's not necessary. They won't send us a bill till the end. So that's what this is out here. So, we could borrow that, but we could pay that back instantly if we had the cash. And maybe we'll know that in the fall. We don't know it today.
Yeah, so this is, yeah, so, I mean, this strikes me as redundant in a good way, because we may actually not need the money, but we're queued up to get it if we need it. So that's how I'm thinking about it.
Jamie's asking a question if we're gonna
I
need her.
didn't see the whole thing.
Is
The question-
Jamie needed for the rest of the agenda?
Do we need Jamie for the rest of the agenda?
I'm looking at that right now.
That, okay. So let's finish.
I mean, it's,
Well, we voted.
We did vote. Okay,
I
good
asked
enough.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just trying to.
Okay, so we've done that. So, no, good questions. All right, so next item we have on the agenda is to designate a representative to League of Cities and Towns annual meeting, health insurance impact. And there were some other things in their notice as well. I think we got this, that they sent out a request to all the municipalities to do a couple of things. Well, a major one that I think would affect us is that they're talking about a different kind of health insurance plan. So I don't know what that effect would be on our current, CDHP Gold policy that we offer. So I would hope that that question would get asked and answered there. But they're also talking about, I think they're incorporating is one of their bylaws changes, and also talking about, and I think the incorporation has to do with purchasing rather than, I think the lease on their current office space is coming up and they're talking about buying or building something. So anyway, so I think there's good reasons for us to send somebody, particularly how it affects our health insurance. So.
Yeah, I'm available that day and I offered to do it. So I'm happy to be nominated and go.
I'll make a motion to nominate Andy to
Authorize.
designate
Good, I like
Andy as our representative to the VLCT health insurance impact meeting and everything else there. Okay.
And when is that?
22nd, I believe?
Of June?
Yeah, I'm doing that from memory, but I believe it's the 22nd.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Francis Rose. Any further discussion?
I mean, I'll throw one thing in here.
Because they are professionals, because they've done their homework, because I trust them implicitly, I'm probably gonna approve anything they offer that they need approval on. So that's what I'm going in with the intention that they wouldn't be asking for these changes if they did not need them. I will ask questions about them, but I'm likely to vote yes on anything they ask us to do because I appreciate VLCT and I see the hard work they put into this. So I'm just expressing that I'm gonna go in the room with that bias.
Well, we'll just have to trust you. All right.
There you go.
You're the only one willing to go.
Yeah, I mean, I am personally a little bit wary of any change that affects our town employees. They're sensitive to changes in the personnel policy and whatnot, so I think the league in their notice said that they were working with a commercial partner. It wouldn't surprise me that is Blue Cross Blue Shield. So.
I'll have my ears open.
Yeah, all right. So we have a pending motion?
Yeah, it's been moved.
And seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. You are so designated.
Thank you.
Do I have to recuse myself?
No, you have to go.
I have to show up.
Just have to go.
Okay, next item we have is discussion and vote on policy on seeking legal counsel.
I can offer context on this.
Yeah, please.
Oh, Patty, watch your head.
This question came up, we received from the Plainfield Community Development Corporation a memorandum of agreement to sign, and so we wanted to get it before our legal counsel to basically have in our court of discussion legal opinion. I messaged VLCT asking who amongst us and when might we seek legal counsel. So I'm going to read their reply, and in their reply is, I think, the foundation of this conversation. Broadly, they're saying it depends. You're dancing around the general premise that only the select board can decide to use the town attorney because they control the purse strings and must approve any funds used for legal fees. So in most circumstances, the board will need to make the decision whether to use the town attorney's services during a duly warned open meeting. You can't decide to use town attorney without a quorum of the board in agreement, which necessitates a meeting. That could change, though, if the board has delegated some measure of its decision-making authority for when to use town attorney. For example, maybe the select board has authorized the town administrator, manager, or even a single select board member to seek legal advice on town matters on their own within some monetary boundary. Or maybe there is an agreement amongst the board that any member can seek the town attorney's advice on town matters on their own. In those cases, though, the authority still rests with the board, but it has been delegated to a single official by agreement of the board at a duly warned open meeting. This could be through a policy. So in short, unless the select board has delegated this authority to a single official, then the decision to use the town attorney should be made at a duly warned open meeting. And so here, I offer to this board for our discussion, consideration, what, if any, policy do we wish to make going forward so that there's clarity here? It sounds like there's actually quite a bit of flexibility around this, so long as we make this decision in advance, covering future occurrences. Andy?
So I have a question.
That opinion you read was about us contracting with the town attorney as opposed to reaching out to VLCT for their legal advice.
That's true.
Right? And there's been at least one instance where I have reached out to them for legal advice, which I think I had authorized before I did it from this group.
To VLCT?
Yeah,
No, but that's not what I'm
about
talking
them.
about.
I understand. I just want to say that there are, that's a separate thing.
Yes.
And the question is whether the policy would cover that too or not. You don't think so?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's an open door to ask VLCT legal questions.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
There's no cost. Yeah, I think, in the last few years, because we've had so many different kinds of things we've needed legal opinion on, we've been pretty flexible and open, the board has, before we're new, right? But what I've witnessed is that as the board has needed to, it just does, go to council and get opinion. I think this is a good time for us to establish a policy. For me, I would be comfortable if the board chair was authorized to a certain amount on issues to go to the attorney. I think no one's abused it, no one's, it's only been used when it's really been needed. So for me, I think there are times when you need something more immediate than waiting for 2 weeks for a meeting. And so if we were to authorize the chair or the vice chair or both to make that call, I'd be comfortable with that.
I saw the email and the opinion from the League of Cities and Towns, and I thank Andy for asking his question. I know that, somebody like Will Colgan often will ask legal opinion of League of Cities and Towns, and I think that should remain open to anyone who has the membership to ask. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, the question was, should it be included? And I would agree with the conclusion
Gotcha.
that it not. I did, since we've been spending so much time looking at the 79-page budget detail, I did take a look at all of the instances of legal expenditures that are in here. I would say, first off, we blew through the budget. And so, I don't know whether this coming fiscal year, I certainly hope we will not need as much legal advice as we have had this past year, but it is what it is. A couple of comments. I don't know, as you can predict in advance, what the dollar amount of the legal advice is going to be. It's going to be based on the complexity of the issue. So I don't know how practical it is to say that. In looking through the places where we did engage attorneys, it was either bond counsel or Tarrant and Gillies, excuse me, Garrett and Tilly's, right? There were basically three categories where we went in. One was the Bean Road situation, so it was litigation. Two was personnel issues, separation agreements and employment agreements. And the third was financial, basically bond counsel. In all of those instances, I can't see where that choice would not have been made. And particularly with the financial stuff, and you saw this evening where we approved at town meeting, 2 bonds. And so knowing that we're going to need bond counsel opinion and preparation of documents, both to vote on in advance of the vote, but then the follow-up, the preparation of an opinion to the bond bank, and then the closing documents at the end. It's not a one-time thing. You're going to need that legal counsel to complete those steps. And I think that, like Karen says, I don't think it's been abused. We've used it as necessary. And I personally would find it fine for the chair to do that. And I have acted that way, particularly with the financial stuff. I think the other times that we have sought counsel, it's been as a group. So anyway.
I have a proposal, namely, I had a proposal in my head just a second ago. I think if there's a distinction between seeking a legal opinion and seeking legal action, such as writing a contract, I think writing a contract is more expensive than getting a legal opinion. So I'm wondering if there is that distinction between it's okay for, and I would propose 2 of us rather than 1 of us, to agree that we want to seek a legal opinion. The chair certainly makes sense. It doesn't need to be the vice chair, but it's simple if there is like that, if there's a second person added to that for it to be the vice chair, that is enough authority to seek that legal opinion. But if we are seeking legal action on behalf of the board or the town, that we do so in open meeting.
And just a question about that, Rose. So I like that. Bringing it before the board, would we also want to have an estimate of the expense? Could we have that or not? Peter's point, right?
I agree Peter's point.
We don't know.
We don't know. Therefore, I guess that was, the opinion is a small bite. The action is a bigger bite.
Okay.
So that was my gesture toward price, not knowing the price.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you could give an example of an action as opposed to an opinion. And let me give you a couple of examples. Let's look at, the fact that a bond vote gets approved by the voters. We know that there's going to be a number of steps that need to take place. Those are actions. Those are preparations of documents, preparations of warning, expression of a professional opinion on the solvency, whatever that they're doing. We know that has to be done. Is that an action that needs to be done in public session? I would, a more extreme example would be an action to sue. Okay? You're arguing that should be done in public session as opposed to in executive session?
No.
Because that is clearly an item for executive session
No,
when you get into litigation. So please define action.
Action, for example, asking Sarah Buxton to draft for us employee agreements. That is an action. And so, we could put an addendum onto the end of this policy that is except for the issues of bonds, where we know that there is, with a bond vote comes an automatic series of legal counsel actions that we do not need to seek additional authorization for each time. And, of course, I'm not saying that anything that would jeopardize town or person or anything needs to be in public session. I'm just saying it wants a vote.
And what you did say was a duly warned meeting.
Yeah.
So if it's an executive session,
It's
it's
in a
duly warned meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
I'm good.
Too late.
All right, I have language, maybe.
You want the mic? You got Mike.
Thank you, Mike. So it's a motion to authorize the chair and vice chair to seek legal counsel from the town attorney for legal advice, but require full board approval for legal actions in a duly warned meeting.
Accepting bond applications
Okay,
where subsequent necessary legal counsel,
Wait, hold on,
it's a lot.
he's
yeah,
typing. Accepting,
Bond applications?
where subsequent necessary legal counsel would not require subsequent authorizations.
It's a mouthful.
let's just see.
Here it comes. Motion to authorize the chair and vice chair to seek legal counsel from the town attorney for legal advice, but require full board approval for legal actions in a duly warned meeting, excepting or with the exception of bond applications where subsequent legal counsel will not require additional authorizations. Is that where you are aiming?
That's,
Okay,
to me, that's a decent first pass.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's good, clear. Okay.
Yeah, but
So I am gonna recommend that that goes into a policy.
Yep.
If you want to,
that's,
it to continue, because
So-
that can go into your minutes
so-
and get lost.
Yeah.
so
So I
what you're
think we
doing
would
is
have to draft
Yeah,
a
let's-
motion to create a policy.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
yeah.
that's, yeah.
That's
So-
great.
So friendly amendment,
Yeah,
I like it.
sorry.
motion to create a policy.
To authorize.
That authorizes.
Yes,
Okay.
Sorry.
that's great.
Otherwise,
Thank you.
it's just gonna get lost.
No, thank you.
That's an excellent
Good
idea.
catch.
Okay, good.
Right.
That's good.
So motion to create a policy that authorizes the chair and vice chair to seek legal counsel from the town attorney for legal advice, but requires full board approval for legal actions in a duly warned meeting, with the exception of bond applications where subsequent legal counsel will not require additional authorizations. Yes? Motion made.
Motion is made. Has anyone seconded it?
I'm seconding it right now.
Patty?
Patty seconded it? Okay. Is there discussion? I have discussion. In the other cases where we have sought legal counsel in the past year, looking at the budget stuff, it has been for real estate transactions. And that's actually what triggers the memorandum of agreement from the PCDC is a real estate transaction. Normally, that gets negotiated in executive session. How would that get handled under this policy?
It's a duly warned meeting.
Is it a real estate? It's services, it's not real estate.
The memorandum of understanding is asking the town to take over, which would mean there will be a closing of property from whoever the owner is to the town.
I have a solution, maybe.
Yeah,
So here's the amendment in the middle, but require full board approval for legal actions and contracts in a duly warned meeting. Because that would be a contract.
it's a real estate contract.
Right,
It's a contract, though.
yeah.
We're saying the duly warned meeting can be an executive session meeting, and it can be a public meeting.
Right, as long as it's warned, it
As
can go
long
either way.
as long as it's warned.
Thank you.
That's what we're saying. So no matter the particular topic, if it has to be in executive session or it's a public session, it's still duly warned. That's what we've got. It covers it. We can revisit. Why don't we live with it for a little bit and see if it works? If it doesn't work, we'll fix it.
Well, particularly when it comes to legal matters, and that's what we're dancing around here, to use League of Cities and Towns language. I will be voting no. I think that this is not ripe. I think we have discussed a lot of the concepts. I like the idea that it is a policy. That's a good point. But I don't think we have fleshed out all the potential scenarios here.
Let's table it and bring it back.
And that's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can live with being outvoted too. It's not the first
I
time
can
that
withdraw the
that
motion for tonight and we
Yeah.
can revisit it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel any urgency around this. So,
All right, I'm going to withdraw the motion. We can revisit it when we feel like we have more
Well, Francis
understanding.
Rose made the
Francis,
motion, right?
I did make the motion.
You did, oh, I just repeated it, so what do you want to do?
I suppose we can take the language that Andy just notated and send it to the LCT for their legal opinion and ask how this could be stronger. We'd like to make it a policy because we realize though no one has abused it, we have been in breach by, acting as we have without delegating specific authority between meetings to seek legal counsel.
I would welcome that. I think, I just lost my train of thought. I think it's appropriate to limit who can engage and commit the town, because it does cost us money. I think that's an appropriate concept, so I don't have a problem with the concept. I like the idea of a policy. I just don't know that this specific language covers properly and doesn't, all of the potential scenarios, and doesn't potentially unnecessarily tie our hands. And you mentioned it earlier in terms of having to warn a meeting. Sometimes you need to respond quicker. I mean, you can have a warned emergency meeting, a warned special meeting, you know, you can do that. But again, I'm sitting here thinking out loud, and that bothers me in terms of making policy by doing it like that, so.
I like Rose's suggestion that we present it to VLCT and see if we can get some guidance.
Legal counsel.
Let's get some legal counsel. Who would like, is somebody willing to take that on, send it?
If, Andy, you want to just forward me that
I'll
language?
send, yeah, I mean, you're gonna get
Okay.
the notes tomorrow like you get from there, you can just cut and paste.
I'm happy to send that.
Very
out to
good.
VLCT.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, since you started the dialogue, it's
Yeah,
easy to
yeah,
follow up
it's
with
yours.
them, so.
They might have a policy already drafted too.
We can
They
hope,
have a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
available, so.
we can hope.
all right.
With the understanding that Dan is here, or maybe still here, I think he's still here, I mean, we can't rearrange the agenda in his case, can we?
I mean, I think we just excused, you are the only one left here to have the executive session with our constable. Should we?
We still have a number of items on the
But
list
no,
here.
Question is, Dan is waiting.
But then we would come back from executive session and finish our meeting.
And finish. What?
I'm fine with Dan. Oh, you're gonna go into executive session.
Right.
We are
With Dan.
we are
With Dan.
considering
But that
doing
requires
so
kicking you out.
now, but that requires kicking you out.
Okay.
Do we want to do that?
Who left? Who'd be involved?
Did he just go downstairs
Is
for
Water
that?
still here?
Yeah, I mean, I think to honor his time, I would like to do that. Dan, we're moving you up on the agenda maybe.
Or we're attempting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Even though you look like is that mine?
It is.
Oh, I was wondering where that was.
Thank goodness your name's on it.
Yeah, where was it?
On the tank
All right, so good.
and the toilets.
The bathroom.
That's a law enforcement action.
All right, so
Yeah.
the motion has been withdrawn,
Yes.
and the action is to run the language by League of Cities and Towns.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Francis Rose will take it.
Yeah, and as Tammy notes, if they have a standard policy on this, we should look at that. That's great.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Thank you.
So,
All right, so back to the agenda.
we're gonna
You want
do
the
a
language for the-
rearrangement.
For the
Where's my
executive
copy?
session.
Yes,
I'm just getting some-
yes.
Okay. So this is,
This is a,
dot, 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 dot.
May I make a motion?
Yes, go ahead.
the,
I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session, VS 313, A1E.
And do you need to name it somehow, or that's enough?
we need to say that.
I named it, but Peter Cribble was my name, so Peter can name it.
No, a topic. We need to name a topic. You just
Need
said
to-
pursuant to. So do we need to say anything about what the subject is?
Potential harm. right,
The,
so-
that A1E
Yeah,
has a lot of words, it's like three
Got
different
it.
sections of words.
Okay,
But you should give it some type of description.
For me, it's public safety.
okay.
That works?
That's great.
Well, yeah, it says that we can go in under A1E after making a specific finding that premature public knowledge would clearly place the public body or person individual at a substantial disadvantage. So I think with the strategy here, that we're trying to enforce some ordinances, that the town would be at a substantial disadvantage if the public knew the strategy.
Yes.
So,
Second to go in. So a motion was made, I made a second.
Thank you, Tammy.
who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Francis Rose moved, and Karen made the second.
Thank you, Tammy.
Good night,
Thank you,
Tammy.
Tammy. And we have no Zoomers at the moment?
No, all the Zoom
We
people
need
gave
to
up.
turn off the recording, is that correct?
Once we vote.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of going into executive session pursuant to 313A1E, say aye. Aye, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, is there a motion?
I will move to come out of executive session to exit executive session pursuant to 1 VSA, section 313A1E.
Second.
It has been moved by Andy and seconded by Karen to come out of executive session pursuant to the appropriate language. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there any action from executive session that is being proposed?
None.
No,
None. And now we need to return to our regular meeting agenda.
Might
regularly
I
scheduled
invite us
programming.
to consider what of the items left could be tabled until next meeting?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Well, I would start with the credit card usage
Yeah.
Didn't we
policy.
talk about that?
Let's table it and talk about it.
Yeah.
We also have some information from Tammy, which is, what she said about
Yeah.
assigning to individuals as opposed to departments, so that's
Okay.
worth consideration.
From Tammy
Barnum.
Farnham.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the other Tammy,
No,
because I went over this
This is gonna
with
get
this current Tammy.
confusing.
With this current
But anyway,
Tammy.
let's roll that one over.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
we have the next three. So liability insurance, stipends, and the liaison and committee reports update.
Yes.
Those could probably all go to next meeting, you think?
Yeah, the liability insurance for contractors, I don't know if there's a
Is there anything
deadline
urgent
on
there?
that.
There's no deadline. That's just Carol's
Okay,
insistence that we consider this as policy,
all righty,
because
good,
she's finding inconsistency across the vendors,
okay.
which is dissonant with her sense of the history of it.
Is there suggested language on that? Or is it just Carol would like?
I suppose if I'm writing to the LCT about the policy on legal counsel, I could also ask them for policy on insurance for contractors.
That'd be great.
It's a lovely
Thank you.
idea.
Yep.
Okay, so do we need a motion to move these to next meeting?
Yeah,
Do we need a formal motion?
Or can we just,
Yeah, I don't know if we need a formal motion, though.
all right,
Well, I think because they were posted on the agenda,
Yeah.
people might want to know.
all right.
So I would say we would be wise to
All right, I
have a
will
motion.
make a motion to move the following items to our next meeting on June 22nd. Policy on town credit card usage, liability insurance for contractors, the discussion on the date for payment of stipends, and follow-up on committee liaisons and reports.
Second.
Karen moves and Francis Rose seconds to postpone those 4 items to the June 22nd meeting.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now we are to the approval of the draft minutes. And do we have a date?
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, I thought,
I've got them here. Minutes for the May 26th Select Board meeting and the June 3rd Special Select Board meeting.
May 26th and 6/3
Correct.
6-3.
special.
I will make a motion to approve the draft minutes from May 26th and June 3rd.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
second it.
Patty seconds. Any discussion? They look good to me.
It looks good
Yeah,
too.
that's good.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that has passed. Do we have warrants?
do not.
Accounts payable?
There are none.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any.
Well, we had bi-weekly payroll,
Oh, that's true.
so we're only gonna get them every other.
Yay.
And at some point, we may get every other with accounts payable, but
Right.
we're not quite there
Not there
yet.
yet.
So, no, I think there's gonna be a lot of cleanup this month of June, just closing out the books,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Okay, great.
Announce the next date of the select board meeting, so that will be June 22nd.
Yes.
Before we adjourn, I would just like to put on the radar screen, it is possible that I will not be here for the first meeting in July. I may be out of state. I know I'm going to be out of state that weekend. The question is, will I be back? And that's up in the air. I would also put on our radar screen that, and we looked at the calendar today with Tammy, new Tammy, and Carol. One of the things that we must do 30 days, no later than 30 days prior to the tax collection date in August, is set the tax rates. And the past several years, just the timing of it has been that a special select board meeting has been called. However, that can't happen until the state finishes its work, which is due by July 1st. And you have the July 4th weekend. So whether we get it July 1st or 2nd, which is a Wednesday and Thursday, or not, is questionable. But as soon as the listers have their information, then they can prepare their recommendation to us for a tax rate. So just to put that on your radar screen, that is likely coming in that meeting in July, if not a special meeting.
So it's either the first meeting in July or one right after it.
Well, it can't happen later than July 19th. So it will either happen at our July 13th regular meeting or at a special meeting prior to that.
Okay, so our next meetings are June
Setting the
22nd.
tax rate.
And do you want to give me the dates of the following meetings if you have them?
July 13th,
July 13th, yes.
and then add 14 to that.
You know, you jumped an extra week there, Peter. June 22nd to July 13th is 3 weeks instead of 2.
That's one of those times.
It's the second.
It's the second and fourth
because
Mondays.
Because there's a fifth Monday. Got it. Okay, and July 13th, and what was the last one? July 20?
Add 14, 27th.
Got it. Great, thank you.
So there may be a special meeting
Yeah.
in that more like 2-week timeframe, solely for the purpose of doing the tax rate.
Okay, we get an extra Monday off.
And just, speaking of calendars, I'm leaving Saturday, will be gone.
You are leaving?
I am leaving from the 13th until the 22nd. I'll be flying back 10 o'clock in the morning on the day of the meeting. So I have access to my email and et cetera, but I'll
Should
be
we
in
bring
Virginia.
you a cup of coffee?
No.
Where are you going now?
What do you want? I'm taking care of little Sabine in Virginia, and then I have a,
Is this grandparent duty?
yes,
Okay.
Mimi duty.
Have fun,
This
Mimi.
is Mimi duty. Yeah.
Anyone notice that it's just barely getting dark out?
I know, it's 9:10.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
I love
But
it.
Yeah.
It's late.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Don't wish it away.
I know, I love it.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
You can.
I'll suck it.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion by Andy and seconded by Karen Hatcher to adjourn.
Yep.
Any discussion? I don't hear any.
Oh, I want to stay here all night.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Lots of good work, folks.
Yeah, back at you.